Hello and welcome to the Bigboomriver channel. Today I'm your host and a professional poker player. We are playing 50NL on PokerStars, two tables, and down right you see a replayer. Let's get straight into the action. I think here against the rack I like a more polarized c-bet strategy. Ace-9 goes pretty clearly in the back-checking range. With the club I think I could think about delayed c-betting. But yeah, against the 2x stab, easy fold. Interesting step because we improve on this card quite a bit. We have pocket tens. We check back definitely some jack 10. So I'm not a big fan of his 2x steps there. Don't think he has such a big advantage to polarize like this. C-betting half pot here, having jack 10 and pretty good board for us. Half pot I think is my size. Like, you basically should start polarizing when you have, or like polarizing like this with an overbet when you give yourself the range advantage. I think he should not have pocket jacks. It's a pure 3-bet. Of course, he has maybe more 6s and 4s, but I guess we have more 10s than him. So I guess range advantage is probably on his side, but not sure if that is enough for the 2x pot. Definitely some exploitative play. Always interesting when people use creative sizings like this. And the sandwich, I think we can overfold. Interesting that he was using a big sizing on the flop. In theory, he's supposed definitely to go small. Could be very exploitative. On this stakes, people tend to use a bigger c-bet sizing with stronger value. And yeah, like we see, he's definitely not scared. With the backdoor flush draw and the pair, so we have quite an easy continue because he's going to give up quite a bit of his club draws on the river. Should not bet them all the time, or at least very low frequency. We have some jack X in our range, so we are super protected. And he has definitely some give ups. Nice. Guess it was a flush draw. No. Interesting. Going to note that. Yeah, not a big fan of this. I think the small bet accomplishes about the same than his bet, and then he's not even bluffing the river. Not sure about that. I think on this board I kick off with a range check. I think on this more dynamic boards the imposition player has quite a bit of advantage. Our hand is definitely good enough to go for a check raise on the flop. Now on the turn, we definitely can bet. Yeah, I think we are strong enough. So we go for the big sizing. Versus German nit. Ace check is a clear fold. So we check back the flop to raise against the big sizing on the turn. Wrapping something like king 9, king 4. We are blocking the king 10. Very interesting. I guess that is the bottom of the range. We are betting big on the turn. That's why we can let that one go. Calling here. With the two overcards, backdoor straight draw. A little bit too tight to fold against the yeah, with the 6 outs to the nuts, the two overcards. I don't think we want to race against the with this combination, because if we raise, we want to fold out hands like ace king, ace queen that we are blocking. So I don't think we want to raise. Folding is too tight, so I think call is our play. Sucks, of course, if we don't hit, but I think it is how it is. Yeah, not going to start betting here. What does he have? Don't see much. Queen X in his range when he check back the flop. The bottom flatting range contains all the small pockets. Could have like something like king 10. Guess calling 1, and now evaluating river depending on his sizing. Guess he will check back quite a bit. And against the big sizing. Which queen is he checking back? Maybe king queen. Yeah, I think we let it go. Yeah, if you're in doubt on 50 NL, most players are under bluffing. It's a Zoom format, so the fold button is always pretty easy to hit. If you're in doubt, just press the fold button. Looks like an up scroll from 50%, indicator for strength. Of course, not folding yet. Turn is a very good card for us. He should check back most of his queens. Most of his 9x. So I think it's a very good card for us to lead. When we think here on the spot, and we assume he's a rag that is not range betting the flop. His checking range contains here mainly 2 pairs, and c-betting range mainly Jack X. So a board pair of the middling card here is definitely better for the big blind than for the button. That's why I think leading does make a lot of sense. Also because most players don't bluff enough on turn flush connects. So I think the lead increases our EV quite a bit, was definitely plus EV. Yeah, without the backdoor flush draw, we're just calling here. Need to be on a draw board like this, very careful not to check raise too aggressive. Many potential bluffs, can't take all of our 10x because we have also clubs, potential king queen, 7-6, so it's very easy to start being out of line. But on this 9, I think we have a very clear bluff. Folding out ace queen, ace king, that's the target region, and we don't need to go too big to do this. 75% will do the job. The fish flats and the button goes for the squeeze play. A little bit deeper. Could forward, but against the unknown, I think I prefer the call, getting the fish in the pot. If he back raise jams and he rejams, don't think we can fold. Very good board for him. Would expect something between 50 and 75%. Goes for 40. Guess that's alright. Like basically every sizing makes sense because we will not have the 5s and 4s because it's not in our open raising range. I would expect him to size up a little bit, just getting a little bit more polarized there and to get money in. Now I'm very curious about his turn sizing, if he's preparing a river all in shove, or if he tries to block for a free showdown. He's not betting. That's pretty interesting. Would expect him to bet with his overpairs quite always. So I think our play is to target ace king, and that's what we do with a block bet. He's getting the hero call from ace queen. That worked out pretty well. Not c-betting my range here against the flatter. And I want to be very polarized on this board using a big sizing if I want to c-bet. So 8s go into the checking range. And here we go for the delayed c-bet. 50% overbet many potential rivers. And that's pretty nice. Goes for the 2x pot step on the ace king. Yeah, of course, no reason to raise, I guess. So we call with basically the nuts. Amazing river. That's pretty nice. Got him. People have what they rap. Still a little bit in shock. Think squeezing here. Looks a little bit crazy, but on this stakes, people will not find, or not even close, find enough bluffs or 4-bet bluffs against squeezes. So we will realize our equity quite well, and the flatter there's mainly dead money. Against the step 100. Could have c-bet, I was a little bit too much focused on this table. But yeah, alright. Should not have all the two pairs. Especially like 10-5, 10-6. So I think range betting is alright. Especially against a player that has 0% check raises on the first 250 hand. After both players are checked back, I think we start stabbing. And multi-way, we don't stab in high frequency, so we use the big sizing. Don't expect him ever to check back like a 7. His main calling range here, or I even would expect him to c-bet basically all his 10x. Here, pocket 10s, on 7x anyway. So I guess his range knows still quite a lot around of overpairs. Nasty one. Not sure if I should bluff here. Can have easy a 10 that he checked and now it's full. So I think giving up this one. Ace King is a very loose call. So he has one player behind and he calls the big bet on the turn, even with the ace of clubs blocking my potential bluffs. I'm not a big fan of that. Was not expecting it at all. Also would have thought that he's c-betting a little bit against the fish that was flatting there. But I was wrong. Interesting. Fury a little bit too wide, but guess we will perform all right with this. Yeah, we had definitely some interesting hands this session. Going to wrap it up after this hand. Yeah, if you have any questions, just drop a comment. I'm going to reply as soon as possible. Press the like button, subscribe to my channel, support the project, and see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching.